All right, if I can have everyone's attention, we'll continue our availability this afternoon. We now welcome Greg Biffle, driver of the number 16 Field Treat Ford, currently 5th in points, 1 win so far this season, got 2 wins here at Dover. Talk a little bit about coming into Dover this weekend.
Yeah, it's been a great track for us, although as of late we've struggled a little bit here as an organization, and we're looking forward to turning that around, and like we've been able to do at Richmond and some of the short tracks we've been a lot better on as of late. And we targeted this place to be a place that we needed to improve at. And I feel like we've, so far, been a little bit better than we had been in the springtime here. So that gives me a lot of confidence for the rest of the weekend and what we're able to do with the car tomorrow.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. We'll start here in the middle with Holly.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. Greg, could you go on and make the case for us why this is not a 3-man race? And, you know, you typically, when you're in the chase, do pretty well. I mean, make the case for yourself, and also, if you would, just why you're not ready to say this is a 3-man race.
Well, the chase, from what I understand, is made up of 10 races. And to be 2 races into the chase and say it's a 3-man race already, to me, just seemed that seemed silly to put why somebody would want to put themselves in that position and say it's a 3-man race. Obviously, there's no, you don't have anything on the line. It's not like we're making a wager at Vegas that it's a 3-man race. It's somebody's opinion, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I can't imagine with 10 races to go, or with 8 races to go, somebody be willing to say, oh, this is a 3-man race. Take, for instance, last week when we finished 3rd and moved up 6 spots in the points to 5th. I mean, I don't know how one would say it's a 3-man race. Now, if Kenseth goes on and wins the title, does that mean it's a 3-man race? Or does that mean it's a 1-man race? I don't know. I just think that there's more than 3 cars in this thing right now. Now, if we get past Talladega and there's 4 races to go or 3 races to go, I could see that. But they could break for 3 races in a row and maybe not even go to Vegas at the same time. Not even be in the top 10. So I say it's a little early is all I was getting at. I wouldn't be the one putting my name on the line to saying there's only 3 cars in this hunt right now. I mean, I wasn't necessarily saying that for particularly the 16 team. I wasn't making the case that it's not a 3-man race because of us. I was making a case. I wouldn't count out Carl Edwards. I wouldn't count out, any of those other guys that are right there in the hunt. Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick. I wouldn't be counting those guys out just yet, is all I was saying. Not necessarily, I wasn't saying it just because of our case of, 1 race we finished 3rd and moved to 5th in points. That wasn't the point I was making.
Questions for Greg? Okay, we'll take one from Mike in the back and then back up front to Lee.
Mike Hember, USA Today. Greg, it's been a while, obviously, since Ford won the championship. Is there a thread going through the past 8 or 9 years that you can point to that sort of caused that? And since you are relatively close, do you feel kind of more of a burden to get it done this year?
I mean, I can't really answer why we haven't won a title. You look at Carl, and Carl tied for the point championship. That's doesn't get any closer than that. And we in 2005 we finished under the old point system 35 points behind Tony with a major hiccup, 3 races to go. So potentially, with just not much in history changed, we've got 2 championships, right there. And probably, some teams have probably done a little better job than we have. And, I mean, you look at Matt Kenseth, for example, he's got 7 wins on the season. I mean, that might indicate some of the reasons why they've got more championships than we got. We've got still a little bit more work to do. We've come a tremendously long ways, and I think we're fairly competitive right now.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Considering that, you know, the Gibbs guys are 1 and 2, Jimmy in the middle, you know, 5-time champion, and then the 2 Roush cars, you guys feel like you're kind of chopped liver because you're not getting the attention even though you guys are top 5 teams. Is there, you know, why do you think that is?
I think that's just historically the way it's been. I mean, you talk about the guys that are having success and how great it is, and you know, that's sort of been the way it is. And you know, am I surprised they're not talking about Carl? A little bit. Am I surprised they're not talking about the 16? Not really, because you know, we tend to slide a little bit under the radar all the time anyway. So it doesn't bother me. You know, it gives you motivation to do well and compete every week and try and get what you can. And you know, like I always said before, you got to, you know, if you're winning races or you win the championship, they have to talk about you. So put yourself in that position, and then, you know, put yourself in the position Matt is, and they're going to be talking about you. You know what I mean?
Would you rather be in that position, and do you think that there's a reason why Matt couldn't find that kind of success, you know, consistently during his tenure at Roush?
Boy, that's a hard one. I mean, you know, I couldn't pinpoint any particular reason why. But the other thing is, I don't mind being, you know, flying a little under the radar. It's a little less pressure sometimes.
Additional questions for Greg? All right, we'll take one right here from Nancy.
Hi, Greg. Mary Jo Buchanan, Speedway Media. Can you talk a little bit about having a teammate in the chase and what you share, and then how you compete against each other as well?
Yeah, I mean, Carl and I have a lot of respect for each other, and you know, we had an incident earlier in the season at Michigan that, you know, the whole organization sat down, and I think we understand each other and, you know, appreciate each other's abilities a lot more since that meeting. And we do, you know, we kind of do what we can to help one another that doesn't hurt yourself. And that's what came out of that meeting in Sonoma after the Michigan race. And that's the way we've really handled it since then. And Carl and I were parked next to each other in the garage. We're talking about our cars and competition and how our car is in race trim versus Q trim. So we share everything and try and help one another with what we can.
All right, Greg, thank you very much for your
Thank you.
time. Good luck this weekend.